Hi, this is Greg Kilstrom. Welcome to the Agile World podcast, where we discuss customer experience, employee experience, and transformation in an agile age. The Agile World podcast is brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. For more information, go to TEKsystems.com. To read more about the topics discussed on this show, you can go to my website at theagile.world and read my latest articles or get a copy of my latest book, The Center of Experience, a blueprint for creating an experience-led organization, now available on Amazon and other retailers. My name is Greg Kilstrom, and I'm the host of the Agile World podcast. I'm excited to introduce part one of a special three-part series about data analytics, brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. Today, we're going to talk about how data enables organizations to transform. To help me discuss this topic, I'd like to welcome data analytics and insights leader, Fulani from TEKsystems. First, why don't you tell me a little bit about your background and what you do at TEKsystems?
Yeah, I'm a practice director for data analytics and insights practice within TEKsystems. And I have been with Tech for the last 10 years. Prior to that, I was with Oracle as a product manager, and prior to that, with Deloitte. Primarily at Tech, I manage multiple practices which fall into our data analytics and enterprise applications product lines. And primarily, I'm responsible for providing direction from our overall practice strategy perspective. Also, I work with our customers in helping them to evolve through various transformations.
What advice can you offer for organizations that want to become more data-driven but aren't really sure how to do it?
Sure, absolutely. It's a kind of a 7-step process. You start with the strategy. The strategy is primarily drive a data-driven culture from the top, because there are organizations in the past which runs based on intuition, based on the gut check. But when you start driving everything, all your decisions from the top through data, then obviously that cascades down, right? So that is number one. Number two is treat your data as a shared asset. I used to call it as a utility. So your data should be like a utility for people to use. It could be a utility like electricity. It could be a utility like water. Whoever needs it, they should be able to tap it and leverage. That is number two. Number three is promote self-service. Having a bunch of folks to help you uncover your data and provide you insights, it is not going to add any business activity. So develop and help and bring tools that will improve self-service. So that is number three. Number four is primarily you take away the technical backdrop of how to get the data, how to modify the data, how to use the data. Virtualize all your data sets, whatever the sources are, and primarily bring everything for the users. Make it simple to consume whatever the data they want. Number five is secure the data. So today with cloud, with so much of external things that are happening in the world, you can have a hacker sneak in. Even if you open it for a second, somebody can sneak in and wipe off your data. So ensure your security is built bottom up and make in a way that security is part of your overall architecture. Then the last thing is primarily curation of data and elimination of copies. Have single source of truth and ensure that the truth is very well curated data set.
How do decision models enable organizations to maximize the value of their data?
So when you are looking at decision models, uh, most of the organizations, even today, even though I try to call it as days of the past, they are reactive to the change based on the data that they get. Uh, the decision models need to move from reactive to more of predictive. And again, if you want to go further, you need to get into a prescriptive metric driven organization. So if you are looking to make your organization more agile, um, then you need to transform, you need to enable with the right decision models for the right set of folks in order to advance your organization's agility. Just to give you an example, we have been working with a pretty cool project for a company which is in the process of collecting seismic data from high sea. And primarily, they collect this data, seismic data, and then they share it with a lot of oil rig companies, primarily because these assets are very far from the land and they need to protect their assets in the high sea from any seismic activity. So, in order to collect this seismic data, you are sending vessels, um, and they are in the middle of the sea for close to around 90 days at a time. And each day, in order to operate these vessels, it costs $500,000. So think of a vessel going into the high sea and having fiber optic sensor cables which are running behind these vessels. And these fiber optic sensor cables collect all uh, the seismic activity from the seabed. But when they are collecting this data, if any of the sensor in your fiber optic cable fails, they need to redo that survey. Just think about just like that, because of one small sensor failure, because there are close to around thousands of sensors out there, and one small sensor failure, they need to repeat that entire survey for that particular day again, which will cost them $500,000. And think about this entire 90 days, and they were doing resurveys approximately close to around 10%. So $5 million of resurvey cost goes there. If they have changed the decision models instead of being more reactive, why not we predict the failure of a particular sensor? That's where we held them out to build a model to start predicting it. So when we started predicting the failure of a sensor, we were able to predict close to around um, 10 to 15 hours before the actual failure occurs. And that gave them that bandwidth for somebody to come in a small boat and go and replace those sensors behind the vessel. And that reduced the overall resurvey by 25%. So you are looking at a $5 million resurvey cost is all of a sudden dropped by 1.25 million, just like you have already collected the data by putting a small predictive model on top. We need to look at what are the root cause of this failure, right? Why is the sensor failing? Is it because of rough sea, or is it because it is brushing on some way of we handling these fiber optic cables? We were able to save them for every vessel close to around $2 million for a 90-day survey.
So, efficiency and automation are an increasing topic of conversation in many business circles. Let's talk about data's relationship to those initiatives. What's the value and role of automation, AI, and machine learning in an organization's data analytics strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we look at data analytical strategy, um, it should primarily do that path of maturity, where you are today, where you want to go, and what is that journey is going to be. In this journey, um, there are various technologies that are available, either it is automation, either it is machine learning, auto ML, AI. And each one of them, as I told in the earlier use case, have certain ROIs that it provides. So a simple thing of putting an automation in, right? We have been working with multiple customers on in the space of service desk, and when we look at the majority of the problem in service desk, what we have heard is password reset. So number of tickets that have been logged by our customers for password reset is 30%. It is a simple automation. You can enable those automations, and people can make it self-service for password reset. Directly, you can reduce your overall ticket volume by 30%. Uh, is this not? Um, uh, this is very easy, but why people are not able to implement it, right? So that certainly there is a change management component to it. But end of the day, you need data set in order to prove out why people are not leveraging some of these functionalities that are available. One root cause is if there is an email that is being sent out for automatic password reset, that email gets embedded into your heap of emails that you get, thousands of emails that you are in your box, and it is very difficult to search. So we went through the overall experience of chatbot based experience. So that automation and then driving through the chatbot, then we primarily started looking at, hey, uh, can we introduce natural language processing, because people want to feel that they are talking to a real person behind. They shouldn't feel that they are talking to a machine, because that is also one of the change management costs. So we primarily help the customer uh, to reduce their ticket flow that is hitting their service desk through automation, then evolving them through AI and machine learning, and then getting to the path of almost like a self healing service desk for them. So this is very much possible in multiple use cases. Service desk is one. You can look at things around either if it is an external customer product support kind of a scenario, or if you are looking at more from internal business support, or even operational support like HR benefits or payroll support. All of this have potential possibilities where AI and machine learning can help you to reduce cost.
There's a lot of work ahead for organizations that are shifting to get employees back to a sense of normal as things ease back from the COVID-19 pandemic. Thinking about how organizations mobilize their workforce for reentry plans, what role can data play, or how can it inform an organization's reentry plan?
We have been working with some of the states in putting together a platform for them to help the businesses reopen. So this platform is more like, hey, what type of businesses I am. And then for each type of business, you will have different rules. For example, for something like a spa, it will be very different than a dog grooming versus a restaurant versus a gas station, right? And each of these businesses are of varied shape and size. So some of them may have thousands of employees, some of them may have tens of employees, some of them may have just two or three employees. But still, um, they need to adhere to certain requirements from the state. So from that perspective, what we have created as a platform is that uh, where the employees can go and apply for reopening registration. So you can go and register saying that, hey, I want to reopen my business, and then there is a set of rules, and they primarily submit proofs for those rules. The submission of the proofs could be daily, because it could be a daily record of temperature check for all the employees who are coming in, or it could be things around which could be on a monthly basis, where they need to submit the proof of cleaning and sanitization of their entire workspace. So from that perspective, we have created this entire platform that can help these large states and counties to prepare themselves to reopen. So that is at one level. Now we are looking at organizations. So when we are looking at organizations, I think the critical thing is statutory compliance. So you need to have reports and systems that primarily to help you to primarily comply with the statutory requirements. So from that perspective, the system allows you, based on the statutory requirements, to keep all your records. And that is the data which needs to be collected and then which needs to be submitted to the statutory compliance needs. Second thing is, the biggest thing what we have seen is, still it is a lot of privacy influences out there, which is contact tracing. That is not easy, but we are seeing Apple and Google, some of the and they are joining together in order to help out with contact tracing, and there is multiple open source use cases which are there for contact tracing. But bottom line is, you don't need to build one more contact tracing. There are applications, there are data which will be made available. You just need to tap and say that whether your employee, based on the contact tracing, is under a risk, and if they are under a risk, then how do you want to deal with that? So that's another use case where you may want to where data will be a bigger play in terms of contact tracing when you have an employee list of thousands of employees who are coming into the office. The next area is shift scheduling. We have never seen where you need to maintain a 6 feet distance, and you need to ensure that your offices are less crowded. So obviously, you are looking at scheduling your workforce in such a way, either they come on alternate days or they come at different timings, and that scheduling is another area where data can help based on the type of work somebody is playing and the location they are sitting, and putting together the entire shift schedule. And the last thing, which is very much critical, is that uh, uh, as we all know, this COVID is not primarily economical induced. This is primarily a health induced uh, scenario. And if you are coming out of this, and when you're reopening, there is a pent-up demand which will go up. And these demand predictions for each one of these businesses, right? So whether it is with a retailer or whether it is with the restaurant, people will open up their purses and they are going to primarily look at many of the services where the demand is being built up over a period of time. And predicting these demands is the next critical thing, where you can react to those demands and try to take advantage of the situation. So I think certainly these are multiple areas where data will play a bigger role in getting back to work or re-entry plans.
For those listening, what is the best way to keep up with what you and TEKsystems are doing in the data analytics space?
Yes, absolutely, Greg. I think TEKsystems have bigger practice and full stack capabilities of services and staffing solutions that we provide. And for any of the viewers who are interested, they can feel free to look at our website. And also the version next now for the data analytics version will be available on our website, so they can go through it. They can also reach out to our local offices where we have a great set of our sellers and solution architects who are available, who can help and guide our customers in getting more insights from their data.
Well, again, I'd like to thank Ram Palaniappan from TEKsystems for joining the show. Learn more about TEKsystems and their perspective on data at www.teksystems.com/version next now. I'm Greg Kihlstrom. Thanks for listening to the Agile World. See you next week. Thanks again for listening to the Agile World podcast, brought to you by TEKsystems. I'm your host, Greg Kihlstrom. You can learn more and get a copy of my latest book, The Center of Experience, from my website at theagile.world or on Amazon or other retailers. Until next week, stay agile.